If there was ever a day to get your sexy on, it would be Valentine's Day.
Here to help us get your groove back is sex therapist Beatty Cohan. Beatty, welcome to the show.
Well, nice to be here with you.
Before we begin, I have to know, how do you become a sex therapist?
Well, with a lot of training. A lot of training.
Okay,
I actually
Beatty.
have postgraduate specialization in marriage and family therapy and sexual dysfunction from McGill University in Montreal, Canada.
Wow, that's
okay.
impressive.
That's where I did my training.
That's
Got
where
it.
you did your training.
It's official then, it's an actual degree, okay.
A real degree. It has to have a real degree, yes.
When you said you had to get a lot of practice, in training, making sure. All right, so tell us what some of your sessions are like then, and what's the process like? Do your clients sit on the couch? Do they lay on the couch?
They don't lay on the couch. They come in and, for example, men who are having erectile dysfunction issues, we need to first of all figure out what is it that's really going on. Is it emotional? Is it physical? Is it psychological? Is it a combination of both? So that you really have to get a very, very accurate diagnosis. Not sexy, but you do, to find out exactly what needs to be done to acknowledge and address and resolve the issues.
So it's more than just handing them a little blue pill and telling them to run off.
Exactly, because little blue pills, in fact, I was talking to a Jon Stewart producer a couple of days ago, little blue pills for a lot of men don't work. So then you have to figure out, again, if it's something physical.
Okay.
There are a lot of other devices, including injections into the penis and penis pumps. But again, it's about penis pumps.
What's that?
Well, it is a vacuum penis that actually is able to give men erections. These are for men who are unable to be able to sustain and maintain an erection in any other way. So again, you have to know what it is that you're really dealing with.
Well, it sounds like a lot of your work deals with the psychological aspects of it, not just the physical as well.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're dealing with, for example, women who've been sexually abused, you have to go through that whole process. It's not enough to just say, okay, it's going to be a hug and a kiss. I mean, there are a lot of things that have to be really sorted out. And men have to understand that, assuming that everything is going really well in your relationship, that we women need between 15 and 20 minutes of physical foreplay, kissing, hugs, manual stimulation, oral stimulation, as long as everybody is comfortable with all of this, in order for we women to get to a very, very high level of arousal where we will then be ready to have intercourse.
Okay.
So a lot of things have to go into all of this. It doesn't just happen on its own.
So 15 to 20 minutes of foreplay before you get to the entree.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I coined a term a number of years ago, emotional foreplay. An emotional foreplay.
Now, what does that mean?
Especially for we women.
Yes.
Hugs and kisses, and I love you, and you're beautiful, and I appreciate, and I'll take the kids, and get a babysitter. I mean, all of these things emotionally, especially for women, it really goes.
I do a lot of that.
Well, good.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now we have a question from one of our audience members.
Okay.
Let's take a look.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Cassidy, and I have somewhat of a question that has been mulling in my mind for quite some time. How do you pose the question or ask the question to your boyfriend that you're not satisfied in bed?
Oh, you mentioned foreplay. Somebody's not getting that 15 minutes.
It's a great question, and my answer is very delicately, but you do have to sit down and have the talk. And I would say, listen, darling, there are a couple of things that I really want to talk to you about. The relationship is great in so many ways, but I want you to know, for example, that when we're going to have sex, I need for you to hug me more and kiss me more, and I need more stimulation perhaps on my breasts, or I would like this or I would like that. So it's not about being critical.
Okay.
It's not about blaming. It's about saying what you need to say in a loving, respectful, considerate way, while at the same time, you've got to say it, because we're not mind readers. Yeah. So if you're not happy with the way I'm touching you, I'm not going to know it unless you tell me. If I'm needing more foreplay and more kisses and more touches and whatever it is that I need to really turn me on to a higher level, I'm going to need to communicate that to you.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. I think that's good advice.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
lovingly.
We have another question, right?
Well, before we get to that, we have to ask you about what some of the reasons why couples lose their spark in the bedroom is. Because a lot of people, they don't have it and they lose it. So what happened?
Well, my husband Jim and I, we talk about this all the time. And initially, look, chemistry is really important. You know, I joke, I can teach people anything in the bedroom, but what I cannot teach is that chemistry, that chemical sizzle. So hopefully, if couples have this in the beginning, what I tell people all the time, and this is really important for everybody to know, is that we have to remember to keep the couple at the top of the list of our priorities.
Really?
It's so easy for life and kids and work and scheduling and everything to really interfere, but we need to know that if we don't take the time, if we don't touch, if we don't make time for dates, if we don't get babysitters, if we don't find time to just be the two people that we were at the beginning of our relationships, we are really asking for trouble.
So if you've lost it, just put that person first and you can get your spice back.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that leads us to our next question from another viewer. Take a look.
Hi, my name's Trinity, and my boyfriend and I have been together for 4 years, and we recently just started a long-distance relationship a few months ago. And I wanted to know how you could keep the fire in the relationship, like, still going and keep the love alive, being so far away.
Well, I think ideally, you know, long-distance relationships certainly have their challenges, and there need to be plans to actually get together
Yes.
face to face. I mean, I don't know how people go for months and years and never see each other, but I think that through Skype we can do all kinds of exciting and creative
Like
things.
what, Beatty?
Well, I mean, sexting and people, some of my patients, I mean, they will have their sort of sexual little things going on Skype. But I think that it is really important for people to find a way, regardless of how long distance the relationship is, to whether it's a weekend or whether it's somebody flying over. I mean, you know, we can have our fantasies about our relationship and about the person who we think we're in love with, but there is nothing better than face-to-face contact, sexual and otherwise.
Okay, so if you can't see them, sext them or Skype them.
Yes.
All right. All right.
So do you find that it's usually the men or the women who lose interest in bedroom activities first?
You may be surprised to hear this, but there was a recent study that came out that showed that women within 2 to 4 years start to lose their sexual interest in their partners.
You are kidding.
No, we can ask why. I mean, what you know, what is it that's really going on? Is it that there are issues in the relationship? Is it that the women are too busy with the kids? Is it that we're too busy going to work? And is it just too busy with life? But it was an interesting result in the study.
Because you always think it's the
guy,
man who's
right.
losing interest.
Well, in this case, this was a big, actually, libido study, and libido is a drug that has been in research now to see whether or not it can't increase women's sexual desire, and this study did find that.
Okay, so let me ask you this. When someone cheats on their spouse, is it usually because they're bored with their sexual, activity?
I think that men tend to cheat because they are bored with their sexual activity or lack of sexual activity. And the majority of women, although women have certainly caught up to men when it comes to having extramarital affairs, but the majority of women cheat and go outside of their marriage because it is not going on emotionally in their partnership.
Okay.
So men cheat for sexual reasons and women cheat for emotional reasons.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. All right, now we have another question.
Okay.
Let's check it out.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Kayla, and I wanted to know how long is too long to wait to have sex? Do people still follow that unwritten 90-day rule?
Uh-oh.
The 90-day rule.
We were just talking about this in the office the other day because we have a coworker who had sex with a woman on the first night, and it sort of set the parameters of the relationship.
And what were those parameters?
Well, I I can't quite go into details, but let's
Okay.
just say he didn't regard her as a long-term person because
Exactly.
it's, you know, the chase was gone after the first night.
Right. I think that each of us, we really need to figure out what role sex plays in our life. And I know all about the hookup culture. And what I am finding is that particularly for women, it's not working very well. Women are having a lot more sex than ever before.
Really?
And I get calls from co-heads from universities all over the country, and they're saying, we're so surprised we're having all this hookup sex, and we're not feeling good about it. We're waking up the next morning, we're feeling depressed, we're feeling badly, and he didn't even care that we had an orgasm. And I'm saying, well, why would he care? You've just met the guy or you've just met the woman. There's no emotional connection, and you're expecting that there is going to be great sex and great caring, and that the person is going to be interested in how you actually feel emotionally and sexually. It's not
doesn't
going to happen.
care.
He doesn't care.
Right.
Okay, well, that brings up a good point about Valentine's Day. And when you're with someone like this, but let's let our audience member ask the question.
Okay.
My name is Dean, and my question is, it's Valentine's Day, and what do you do when you're seeing someone that you're not serious with and you don't want to get her confused?
Well, I think you sound like a really nice man, and even asking the question. You can call and you can say, I hope you have a nice day, but I think it's really, really important that we are honest and that we do not give people a lot of false hope. And I think that maybe today, or maybe not today, maybe tomorrow would be the day where you could have the conversation and say, look, I really, really like you very much as a friend, but I want you to know that it is not going to be moving forward. It is not going to be moving in another direction. And honesty is really the best policy.
But can you say to a woman, look, it's just sex, that's it. Don't expect a gift, don't expect chocolates. The only thing I'm going to give you is what I've been giving you, which is just sex.
Well, I think you wouldn't want to probably put it that way.
Not as blunt.
hardly.
Maybe
No, but I mean, if the woman is expecting more, if the woman is thinking that this is more than just a sexual relationship, I think that the man needs to say, look, you know, I enjoy having sex with you. I think you're gorgeous. I think you're sexy. But, you know, I'm either not ready or I really don't feel that this relationship is going to be moving in the direction that you would like.
So again, it's all about being honest.
Be loving and
Okay.
be respectful and be honest.
Now, Beatty, circling back to the previous question, so you can't hook up on the first night, or you're saying you shouldn't hook up on the first night. But
Some people, as a patient of mine says, she says, look, you know what? I just want something to do.
okay.
So if you want just something to do, be realistic with your expectations. It's
Okay.
probably not going to be more than just a night hookup.
Okay,
very
but
good
then
point.
should you wait, if you want something more than just a night hookup, should you wait a month, 2 months, 3 months?
I think it depends. I think it really depends. I don't think that there's any one number. I think that if you're looking for something more, I think you would want to see that there's some emotional connection, that there's some mutuality and reciprocity. And if you're wanting really to find love, I think you need to take some time to really find out who your partner is and who your partner is not. I know we live in a quick fix, I want it yesterday mentality. But if you're looking for something serious, we need to allow things to really play out a little bit. And hopefully the chemistry is going to be there, and then you could just move forward.
And once we move forward, we found that person, what's the number one thing we must do to keep that romance alive in our relationships?
Make sure that every single day you're aware of that importance. The hugs, the kisses, the I love you, the phone calls in the middle of the day. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to be with you. I can't wait to make love with you.
That's beautiful.
It works.
Okay, I'm gonna go call my wife now. You go ahead and take us to break, and I'll be back.
I'm gonna call my husband too.
Well,
I'll be
I
right
do
love
back.
that.
you, honey. I
Love
can't
you,
wait to
babe.
see you.
I'm gonna go call you now.
Love
Back.
you.
You're watching Arise Entertainment 360.
Love you.